particular item that I just started here is a 360-degree camera. So it takes pictures all around. So when I end up posting this, and I need to do something real quick here. Alexa, start a timer for 40 minutes.
40 minutes, starting now.
The reason I started a timer is this will only record up to 4 gigabytes and then it stops. And it takes about 40 to 45 minutes to get there. So I got to remind myself at that point in time to restart this because I know this presentation is going to take longer than that. I'm going against my better judgment to bring you a live presentation today using a lot of new technology. I mean a lot of new technology. For instance, in the past when I have come up here, that worked, right?
Yeah, that worked.
Okay.
Except it didn't work.
Yeah, well, no, I put it back. I want to make sure it's working. So in the past when I've come here and tried to do one of these live presentations, it has usually failed. It's because I use AirPlay from my computer to talk to a Fire Stick. And I'm on the Wi-Fi network here that is provided by the college. And they do something magical to that and cause it to not work right. So I have invested in a wireless network. I brought my own network, my own internet with me today. This here is and I'm gonna skip back here and see if I've got that on maybe I don't have it. I guess I don't have that. But anyhow, this is a wireless cellular modem. It sells for, you can get a refurbished one for about $170. And with that, if you know what you're doing, you can fake out the AT&T folks and put a unlimited data plan on here for $34.99 a month. And that's what we're running on, is a $34.99 internet plan on one of these modems. This has a battery in it. You can take it anywhere just like it is, or you can take the battery off of it, plug it in, and reuse it full time in your home. I have added a couple of antennas. If you look up towards the projector, you'll see a couple of antennas back there. Because we're in this building that is full of concrete and everything, I wasn't even sure if this was going to work. So we're able to communicate to that device. And in order to, if you have one of these at home, if you want to extend the Wi-Fi range, because this is not a really strong transmitter, what I've been doing is buying, jogging cards for one thing. This is one of the SIM card things that I buy for a few bucks, and then I do my magic with it and I turn it into a AT&T plan. But you can connect that to a Wi-Fi router that will extend your capabilities in your home. I bought these off of eBay. I think this was 20 bucks or something like that. They go from $16 to 30, something like that. There's all sorts of Linksys routers, as long as they're dual band routers, they work well. So I've got a dual band router up there by the projector.
Larry, go back and give me the noun name of your little square there.
This is a Netgear.
Netgear.
And it's called a Netgear Nighthawk M1100. Nighthawk M1100. The cover comes off of the back of this, and I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about this thing, but the cover comes off. There's a battery goes inside here. I didn't put the battery in this one, but the battery's in that one up there, and the SIM card goes right in here. I've been using this for 3 weeks or so, and they tell you that after 22 gigabytes, they may throttle your connection if the towers are busy. I've yet to have any impact from it. I'm watching 60 frames a second, 4K video, hours and hours on end, and I'm just racking up the gigabytes to see how far I can push it. So one of the things Roger emailed me about was something regarding IoT security, about all of these devices that we hook up. And so I told him, you know, one of the ways that you can get around that if you're paranoid is you can buy one of these, and you can put all of your IoT devices on this and keep it completely separate from your rest of your computers. In lieu of that, IoT is Internet of Things. So in lieu of that, you can do something like this with these real cheap routers that you can get off of eBay for a few bucks. And this guy is showing you how to do this to protect yourself from, by using 3 routers. That router up here at the top is your main router, and it feeds 2 of these guys here. And one of them you connect all your cameras to, and all of your echoes and all of your Internet of Things devices. And the other one you connect over here is on a different network, and you connect your computers and your printers and your web cameras and things like that. And this isolates your computer from the Internet of Things. That's for those of you who are paranoid. I don't do that, but if it ever came to that, this is what I would probably use. Okay, let's see if I can stop that and if we can switch back or not. Come on.
That's your SSID right there. Let's just go 2.4.
Come on, go away. All right. See if I can do it this way. There we go. So, oh, actually, I forgot I bought another piece of technology. It's called the teacher, I forget what they call it. Anyhow, it allows you to have multiple AirPlay connections and in teacher mode, so I can control who is connected. And right now, both my phone and my computer are connected in teacher mode. And if I weren't in full screen here, I could go in there and select different people to AirPlay up to the screen from their devices. So like I said, I'm doing a lot of stuff here today that is risky because this is all live and going on as we speak. Okay, so now we start the actual presentation I was going to give. And so this is why you might want a security camera. And I'm going to show you this. I'll explain to what this is, what you're going to see. I live in a community of dead people. My house is haunted. I'm serious. So what you're going to see here is a video that was taken by one of my security cameras at 11 o'clock at night. My wife was in South Carolina, North Carolina. I was home by myself getting ready to turn in for the night, and I heard this crash out in my shop. I had been working out in the shop earlier in the day, and this is a 3D printer that I was working on, which is this box thing, and I had put in a vent tube to go outside. And the crash that I heard you're gonna see at about 28 to 30 seconds into this video. And what that is a 13-pound plastic bin on a 7-foot shelf, 2.5 feet away from this device, and it comes crashing down on there. There is nobody in the shop, as the cameras detect later on. And I have other images of ghost type smoky images that happened during that time. So it's kind of a long story. I really didn't want to delve too much into that. I know who the ghost is. I'm not worried about it. We had the house saged a few times and it's pretty much non-existent now. But we did live with this for about a year. So that's why I say, you know, security cameras can catch all kinds of stuff. And we're going to see if by chance, no, I'm not going to be able to do it that way. So what I will do, see if I can do this. I don't want to start a slideshow. No. I want to go to my photos and photos, my albums, see all albums. Here we go. Let's see if I can get back to where this reflector thing is. Okay, these are actual videos of some of the many things that I took. And this is the video at about 28 seconds into this. Yeah, you don't want to turn, huh? So what's it doing? Is it playing? It says this video is playing on the TV. And there it is, right there. And you see this thing moving around? That's a 13-pound box. 2.5 feet away from this, 7 feet in the air. There's nobody in that shop. And there was nobody in there for the hours after that I videotaped it. So now we're going to talk about security cameras, now that you know some of the uses for them. And, oh hello, I got to go over and trigger this again. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about home security using the WYZE cameras. Up here on the table, I have got a whole collection of the different cameras that WYZE makes. They make a single camera like this one right over here, and they make a pan camera, which is a little taller, that can pan, tilt, and zoom. And I'm going to show you some of the other products that they make. They are very inexpensive. This camera over here sells for $19.99 from the WYZE website, and then they charge you $5 shipping. Or you can go down to your local Home Depot store, and Home Depot sells them for $25. Or you can get them on Amazon and have them shipped to your door for $25. The bigger pan camera sells for $37.98, and they also they're Alexa and Google Home enabled, so you can use it with all of your smart devices. They also make motion sensors for them. And what do I do with the motion sensor? Oh, gosh, well, the motion sensor is about an inch by an inch, like that big. It's very small. I have one of these in my shop as well, and if it detects motion, it notifies me. It can tell my cameras to take a video. Lots of things we're going to get into here in a little bit and show you how all that happens. So they make the motion sensors. They also make magnetic door and window switches that when they're open and closed, they trigger and send you a notification. And you can have that trigger events with your Alexa devices. They have a support group and a forum. You can go in and suggest things for them to make. You can converse with people of like mind. It's a huge forum. We're going to show you a little bit more about that. They also make a new product that just has come out. I think it's now available. It's a door lock. They also have free 14 days of cloud storage. This is unheard of. I've paid $130 for most of my cameras, and if I want cloud storage, I got to pay for that. And they give you 12 seconds of video for free for 14 days every time you detect motion in the cloud, and you can go back on your phone and look at that. You can put an SD card in it, which I put an SD card in mine. And then if you want to see more than 12 seconds, you can go to that event and play it off of your SD card and see the whole complete thing. So I have eight security cameras at my home. And I'm swapping them out. Probably today or tomorrow I'm going to buy another one of these to swap out in my shop. Because the one in my shop, you saw the graininess and the quality of that. That was at the time, it was a fairly expensive camera, but the quality doesn't even begin to compare to what the quality is. This is 1080p, high definition. It is super clear quality. It's got night vision, infrared lenses in it, and it's an incredible camera. For the price, it is impossible to beat. This is the camera with the motion sensor and the two door sense switches that you can mount on your doors. So when anybody opens my screen doors, it alerts me and it tells me inside the house. I have it triggered to my Alexa devices to tell me that the screen door has been opened. I also have, my house has had a ramp, a disabled ramp type for wheelchairs or whatever in it. And we left that up, and it worked out perfect because now I can mount a motion sensor on that ramp, and when somebody walks up the ramp, I can detect that they're there, and I can ring a simulated doorbell on my Echo devices in the house, and then I can do an announcement that there's someone at the door. And then I've mounted another Echo right after you pass the motion sensor and you get to the front door that comes on just about the time that they get to the front door, and it welcomes you to my home, and I can change out the message in it by going into Google Sheets and just changing what I want it to say. And so when you walk up, it'll greet you and tell you that we know that you're at the door. We've told the residents and they will be there shortly. So I'm going to show you how I set all of that stuff up here in Alexa, provided I get enough time and we can get to that in this presentation. I tried to do this at the computer club at my place, and I ran out of time. I'll probably run out of time today, but we'll see how it goes. This is the whole product line that they have currently. So that's that one's the $19 camera, the $20 camera, $25 with shipping or tax. This is the pan version. This is in black. This is the new WYZE lock they just come out with. This is the motion sensor and the switches. They also make a WYZE bulb, which is red, green, blue, all of that stuff. And I have, you know, when Best Buy was here, I had to bite my tongue. They were talking about the Philips Hue. If you've ever priced the Philips Hue, they're expensive. I think they said it's $100 and some. And then you need a hub on top of that. So it isn't just the bulb, you gotta buy a hub. Two of these do exactly the same thing that the Philips Hue does for $19. I had an extra one because I only needed one. These are, you can change the intensity. You can have Alexa tell it when to turn on, or you can control it through Alexa. You can control the colors, the brightness. $19 for two.
That's a WYZE brand too?
This is not WYZE brand, no. This is another brand that was, it doesn't even have a name on it. I got it off of Amazon. It's called a Smart RGB Bulb, 2-pack. If you're really interested, I'll go look it up on Amazon later and get back with you where I actually got it.
Larry, those screw into just a regular lamp?
Yes, they do.
Okay, so you don't need a smart switch anymore?
No,
Great.
no, you just plug it in and use it.
All this kind of stuff he's talking to is now just generally referred to as IoT, the Internet of Things. And Larry's only talking about half a dozen of them. You know, there's.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff out
hundreds
there.
of stuff. Have you been into the appliance section of either Home Depot or Lowe's and seen the refrigerator with the big screen on the front of the door? Oh, yeah.
We
That's
knew
part
this
of
was coming
IoT.
We knew this was coming last year at the CES conference in Las Vegas. They talked about all of this stuff that was gonna be coming out this year. And it
Yeah.
is, it's already in the stores.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
The item you have at the front door that welcomes a guest to your door, does it have to be weatherproof?
well,
Or
it just so happens that I've got a covering over it, so it is, it doesn't get
somewhat
weather to it.
protected?
Yeah, and I'm gonna show you here when we get to it. There are weatherproof cases that you can get for these cameras that will further water. Yeah, they're not waterproof, but they'll be water resistant. My pan cam is mounted in my driveway area, and it has a possibility of getting wet. And I have one of these silicone shells that goes over the top of it for $13 that protects it pretty much.
Larry,
yeah.
what's the range that it'll catch?
Well, it's the Wi-Fi range, whatever that might be, like about 300 feet, if somewhere in that ballpark. You've been to my house, so you know where my lamp post is out front, and I have an I have a smart switch. That's one of these guys. It's a mini plug. Now, there's another one. It's similar to this one. This one actually plugs into the wall, and then you can plug your lights into that and turn that on and off through Alexa or Google Home and those types of things. These things, I don't know. These were $8 or $9 a piece. That happened to be a 2-pack on that one. And WYZE makes these also. I don't think this one was from them, but there's a ton of different switches out there, plugs. So I turned my lamp post during Christmas. We had different things going on out there, and I can turn all that stuff on and off by talking to my Alexa device, my Echo. So again, this is what the WYZE cam looks like. That's the motion sensor here. This is extremely small. You can look at the size of that camera. That's the size of it's just about a 1-inch square, and it does motion sensing. And the batteries are supposed to last about a year. I have replaced the battery in this one of these switches, but they come shipped. They're already the batteries. Who knows how long they've been in them before they get here. This is the pan, tilt, and zoom. they call it the pan cam, is $37.98. Again, available. I don't know if this is, yeah, I think this is also available in the Home Depot store. I think I did look and see that they had them. I don't know that they have the motion sensors there, but they did have the camera. And this is the silicone sleeve that you would put on it to make it more water resistant. It has a little hood over the top. That's all silicone rubbery stuff, and it just slips over the camera. And it also comes with the mount part of it here to mount it outside. And I should mention that this other little camera down here, the first one, that comes with a metal disc with an adhesive backing on it. You stick that little metal disc up on the wherever you want it to mount. And there's a magnet in the bottom of this. And you just stick it up there. So I have one of these also by my front door. So whenever the motion is detected of somebody coming up the ramp, I do another routine that triggers all of my cameras to take a video. So all of my cameras, I've got one that's watching that one, and I got another one that's watching that one. Nobody could possibly steal all of my cameras because every one of them is covered by another one. And whenever I detect there is motion in the network going on, I run a trigger that says capture the video on all of my cameras. So every one of them captures an event video. And I can go back on my phone and I can look at it right here. And they are extremely easy to set up. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. First of all, you're going to download the WYZE app on your phone. You're going to connect it to a 2.4 gigahertz network. It does not work on 5 gigahertz. So my phone is currently connected to a 2.4 gigahertz network. We're going to plug in the camera power. We're going to press the reset button on the bottom. And then we're going to go into the app and say add a camera. And when it does that, it's going to connect to the camera. It's going to put a QR code up on the camera, on the phone. And then we're going to take the phone and we're going to show it to the camera, and that sets it up. It's done. It's that simple. So if we go back, if I go back to screen mirroring here, and I switch back over to my phone, and I go over to the WYZE app itself. So this is offline right now. This one up at the top is from my pan cam. And this is live right now at my home. So you're able to view these when you're away from the home. These videos are stored in the cloud, and then you can play them back right from the cloud. Whoops.
Just missed a car going by. There you go.
Yeah. So this is the front entrance. This is the ramp that I was talking about, and right about here is a motion sensor. So halfway up the ramp, actually it triggers right about in here. It detects that you're walking up the ramp, and it sets in motion all sorts of things. When you get all the way up to the screen door, I've mounted another one of the echo dots there, and so I can instruct it what to say. During Christmas, I was playing some music, Jingle Bells, a short clip of Jingle Bells, and I changed it out daily to different little tunes when you came up.
Larry, did you have to run wires to these devices, or are they battery powered?
No, you have to run power to them. This runs it runs one of those little transformers with 5 volts. So any 5 volts. In fact, right on this side where everything's plugged in, I bought a outlet and mounted it out there that has the USB power source in it, so I don't even use a dongle. They send you about 10 feet of cord with that, as you can see that's running down here. And you can buy longer runs of that cord. It's a flat cable, it's real thin, and it's very easy to hide that. So that's
So if
that.
the electric goes off, then they don't work?
If what?
If the electric goes off, they don't work?
No, they wouldn't work if you lost your electric. You gotta have power. Now, they don't draw, well, they do draw a fair amount of power. There are people that have put a battery on them and run it, they'll run 8 or 9 hours on a battery. But it requires power from somewhere. They're
Those
not-
universal power supplies, that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, those would work.
Those bigger ones would last a long time with that little bit of current.
So, what I started to do and I didn't do, I was gonna go through and hook this up, but in the brevity of time that I have left, I'm gonna skip that process. But that's how easy they are to set up. So this is Ring versus WYZE. I don't know, when I looked up the Ring cameras, they were going for $129 or $150, somewhere in there. They give you a fisheye view, which distorts the image. And the WYZE camera, you know, for either $20 or $38 if you want the pan cam, gives you a nice clean image without all of the distortion. You can change the quality from standard definition, like 720p to 1080p, if you're trying to record to one of the little cards, and you want to get more video on the SD card, you can change it to SD quality and get more video on the card. I keep it on high quality, even with the infrared. I have a lady who delivers. She walks her cat in a little thing she pushes, a little baby
Stroller.
carriage. Little stroller. There you go. So every morning to get her exercise, she goes to people's houses. She picks the paper up the driveway, and she walks it up to the house and sits at the doorstep. And her image is just as clear as day when using the night vision camera lenses on this thing. And where was I going? So I've got a strip of lights that I put in the rail also. So when I sense that she's coming up, I turn the lights on for her. And I also tell my routines not to tell me that somebody's at the door at 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock whenever she shows up. And then at 8 o'clock in the morning, I enable all of that to work. So hopefully I get to the point where I can show you how all that stuff ties in. So you can put up to a 32 gigabyte SD card in the camera for local storage. You can select high definition or standard definition video. And I mentioned you get 14 days of cloud storage. That's only a 12-second clip. If you want continuous motion in the cloud, for $1.49 a month, you can sign up for their cloud service and get all of that captured in the cloud. So if somebody, for instance, came up and stole your camera, you'd only have 12 seconds to catch whatever they were doing in the cloud. You could go back and look at that even though they took the camera. But if you wanted continuous recording, if they plugged it back in again, you know, you've got more video to look at. $1.49 a month. Can't beat that. I couldn't find any of my other cameras that would give you that cloud storage for that.
Can you use the SD card and that $1.49 both at the
Yes.
same time?
Yes, you can. They are quoted as indoor cameras, but for $12.99 you can get the silicon sleeve, and they make that both for the pan cam and the smaller unit down here. It works very well under the eave. This is how I have mine mounted under my carport. And somebody bought one of these and they tried to put it in their window to shoot through the window because they didn't want to go outside with it. The problem is you get the reflection off of the window and it doesn't really work well. But you could put it in a birdhouse and put it outside like that. That would be another option to weatherproof them, to put them outside. Like I said, installation is super easy. It's an adhesive back metal plate. You just take the adhesive off, stick the metal plate wherever you want the camera to go. The camera has a magnet in it and you just stick it up there. It's powered by 5 volts. So the little wire runs down here. I've got that taped down with clear tape. And then it runs over to my 5-volt supply. For the price, you also get a built-in speaker. So I can use my app and I can talk to you when you're at the front door. I can also listen to you, and I can turn that on and off whether I want to listen or not. So it has a built-in microphone and it has a built-in speaker. All this for $20. I find this shocking. With a motion detection zone within the camera image itself. That's in addition to using motion sensors. If you want to detect motion, and you can set the parameters, the zone by which the motion is detected in to some degree, you can detect motion and have that trigger an event when motion is detected. Now that doesn't work well if your camera is pointed at the street and every time a car goes by you're going to get the motion trigger. It also has CO2 and smoke alarm detection. It will listen for a smoke alarm and a CO2 alarm, and then that can trigger an event to go to your phone or call you, or not call you, but send a notification, or trigger something through Alexa or Google Home. It has 4 night vision infrared lights. Uses a local SD card storage. It has event recording for both sound and motion. So if you want to trigger the event recording with sound versus motion, you could do that. It is both Alexa and Google Home compatible. So they covered their bases through both of the types of devices that are out there. They have a huge support group. They have news from WYZE. They have Ask the Community. They have people who have submitted their videos, so you can look and see what other people have captured. You can share tips and tricks with everyone. They have a roadmap of things they're working on that's going to be coming out in the future, and you can vote on those issues that they're working on. They have a wish list if you'd like to see them develop something. Alexa, cancel timer. Cancel timer. All right, where are you? Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. So this is, now, this says back door, but when I was at the computer club at my community that I gave a presentation on, I had this camera set up, or not this one, I had one of the WYZE cameras set up. And so I was capturing events at the computer club off of the WYZE camera. So I didn't change the name from back door, which is where this normally sits. And so this was, again, an image from that that session. So you get an idea of the quality of it. It also has the ability to add rules. So, for example, when the front door entrance camera detects the motion, you can have the pan camera upload a 12-second video to the cloud. And that's how you would, what it would look like on the app, how you would set that up. How many of you know what IFTTT is or have ever used it? Any hands at all? All right, you're going to learn today. IFTTT stands for if this, then that. This is a website, ifttt.com, and you can use it for a whole huge host of different devices. For example, you could schedule to send yourself an email at 1 o'clock at night or whatever. I mean, the list of things that you can do on here is wide ranging. So if there's not enough options available within Alexa itself, you can go outside here to IFTTT and set up some custom actions that can trigger and do just a whole host of things. You can schedule events based on the time of day. You can send an email if a given condition is met. That is just, you haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg as to what you can do with IFTTT. And it's not just relegated to the WYZE cameras, although WYZE has their own section. There's Android devices, there's just a huge list of things that they support. IFTTT, and maybe we'll just real quickly switch you over there. So there is the app. You can put it on your phone, you can have it on your desktop, a lot of different places. But I installed the app on my phone. And as you can see, here's the various different categories of things that you can work with. So Amazon Alexa is right at the top there, and there's just everything that you can imaginable you can do with Alexa. And then you have an Android device. If you got an Android device, you can go in here and pick from any of these things. Or you can send an SMS message to your Android device. Can't do that with an iPhone, but you can do it with Android. Date and time, email, EasyBiz. EasyBiz is one of my other cameras that I will eventually swap out and replace. Gmail, phone calls in the US only, RSS feeds, SMS, and WYZE down here at the bottom. So if you go into WYZE, here are some of the things you can do. So if you say, Alexa, trigger record, then all of the cameras that you have will record and upload an alert video for 12 seconds to the cloud. That's just one of many, many things. You can say, have it text me when motion is detected. Um, You can turn on push notifications when you leave home. You can turn them off when you are home, and you can enable motion detection when you leave home and disable it and turn the cameras off and on and on and on and on, and it just goes on and on. So you don't have to do any programming. All you gotta do is go in and push one of these buttons, and you may have to type something that you might wanna say or whatever, if it requires that. But this is a no-brainer. Anyone can do these things, and it's not made just for this camera, it's made for a lot of things. While I was there, I think we talked about this. Is everybody using the Brave browser now? They have the Brave browser.
Yes.
I used it for a
On your
while,
phone.
and I finally decided I didn't like it, so I
You didn't
put
like
in
it?
the trash can.
Oh, it crashed?
Huh?
Yours has crashed?
No, I put it in the trash.
Oh, you put it in the trash, you didn't like
I
it?
went back to Mozilla Firefox.
Okay.
That's all, I mean,
Yeah, different
It's
strokes-
okay.
Different strokes for different folks.
it's an okay, browser, but
I like it because it reduces a lot of the ads and stuff, but it's, you know,
definitely doesn't let people track it, so that's the
Yep.
nice thing about
it's
it.
got some advantages,
Yep.
and it's free. So, IFTTE, that means if this, then that. Hello, here I am talking to a screen that's blank. Let's go back and look you up. Okay, so if this, then that. And now we get into Alexa integration. So if you haven't updated your app, you know, if you have an Alexa device, you have an app on your phone, your smartphone. And Amazon is constantly adding new features. So if you haven't done this lately, you need to go in and update your app, because they haven't turned on a lot of new things you may not be aware of or not know about. One of the new things that they added was something I just used here today when I told the Fire Stick to set a timer. That's something new that Amazon has added. So I recommend that if you haven't done that, you should. Then you link your WYZE app with Alexa, and then you can do things like, Alexa, show the front door camera on a Fire Stick. So you can also do that on an Echo Show. I happen to have two of those. Those are the ones that have the screen built into them. You can use Alexa's routines to control other devices. And you can have the motion detection, Alexa motion detection with sense switches under control through Alexa. And right here I would insert the Alexa presentation, which I'm going to kind of, yeah, I need to do that. I'm going to come back to that. So I talked earlier about this Netgear router. This is the Mo5 4500. This is a commercial grade router for people who are out in the sticks and have a hard time getting internet. This is a little more expensive. This was like $330. And I bought one of these for my client who has St. John's River cruises up in Blue Springs State Park, and he's literally at the end of the internet. I mean, there's a cable strung through the treetops to him. And I took one of these battery-powered jobbers out to his business, And using nothing more than this sitting on a picnic table with one bar of connectivity from AT&T, I streamed 4K video, streamed the WYZE camera, and ran this computer and one of his computers to run his reservation system at a peak time. This is on one bar from AT&T. I have seen internet speeds on here, although it varies during the time of day, but I've seen internet speeds hit 150 megabits per second on this. Doesn't happen all the time. Most of the time it doesn't. If you come in first thing in the morning and you fire it up and you run a speed test, it pegs the 100 megabits. But again, it depends on the cell towers and how busy they are as to what your speed's going to be. But I've yet to have a problem watching 4K video.
I was just gonna add, you could actually take this whole, set of equipment, put it on the boat and be doing it while the boat's rolling.
Absolutely. I put the WYZE camera in my dashboard. I connected it to this, which was sitting on my passenger seat, and I drove to Blue Springs Park, which is an hour and 15-minute drive, and never missed a lick. So, fortunately, there's cell towers all along the route, and it just switches from one to the other, and it's seamless. So this guy, like I said, was a little more expensive, but if you're paying, I don't know what you're paying, but I've seen people paying a couple $100 a month for their internet. If they've got DSL, and I have measured the speed of DSL in many homes in my community, all of them are usually in the 5 to 6 megabit range, unless you unplug the router and plug it back in, and you might get it up to 20 or 25, but most of the time it's down in the mud. You can't even watch Netflix on it, on CenturyLink's service.
DSL, phone line,
It's a phone line.
phone line internet. That's what DSL is, okay? Versus cable
Cable.
or using a tower.
And the reason DSL can never give you good service is the wire diameter itself is figured into the equation as to how much speed that you can get out of your internet. And it's phone wire. It's extremely thin. You cannot get high speed out of CenturyLink. No way. So this is the Netgear Nighthawk M1100 that we're talking about. That's right here. So now we're going to go back to the Alexa presentation. So here's something new. Do I talk about that? I do. Now, all of you who know me know I am not a fan of Microsoft, and I make no bones about it. And Cortana is a Microsoft product.
That's why we feel sorry for you.
That's why I feel sorry for you. You don't see the Mac getting all the viruses and getting the alerts from Microsoft. And I watched a real interesting video the other day. This is kind of a side issue, but there was an interview with an ex-Microsoft employee saying, why is Microsoft having so many problems in the past year or so? It's because they laid off all of their big majority, over 50% of their people that used to test this stuff. And so they're releasing stuff that's got bugs in it. And you, the user, are the ones that are paying the price for it. So anyhow.
You said they laid off those people?
Yes, they laid them off. They've gone. That group is no longer in place except for a small handful, even yet today. So.
But their stock went up, so the CEO made his bonus then.
Oh yeah, of course. Anyhow, one of the things that they did release is Cortana, and I'll have to say I like it. This, for me, giving a like to Microsoft is a rarity, but I will give them credit on this. The Cortana skill. Now, if you have Alexa, do y'all know what a skill is? I hope everybody knows that you can increase the capability of your Echo devices by enabling skills, and there's thousands of skills out there, thousands. You can go onto the Amazon website and go to their skills section and peruse through them. And usually it's very simple, if you know what the skill name is, to enable it. You just say, Alexa, enable Cortana.
What kind of skills are we talking?
Oh, the skills are, like I said, there's there's thousands out there. I've written several myself. They do all sorts of different things. You have to just go through and see what's out there. It's literally open-ended. You can increase the capabilities of your Alexa devices hundreds fold. So, Cortana got a thumbs up from me. I give them an A plus.
I'll
for that.
send Microsoft an email about that.
They're
probably be
falling down
thrilled.
on the job. They
Yeah, they'll probably
they
be
must have had an
thrilled.
Apple engineer design that one.
That you like Cortana. I don't like Cortana. Don't use it. Don't want it. Think
Well,
there's-
the reason
Go ahead.
here's my reasoning for using it. If you ask Cortana to look up something, she'll give you a different set of results than you will if you ask Alexa to look up something. So it's an option to give you a different. If you didn't find the answer by asking the A girl, the Alexa, something, you can ask Cortana something. I don't know if we got Cortana on there or not. Cortana, what's the weather?
Right now in Leesburg, it's 84 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. Today's forecast has thunderstorms with a high of 85 degrees and a low of 57 degrees. Would you like to know the weather for this weekend?
No.
No. No.
That's something, I didn't realize that you can put Cortana on the Fire Stick. Is that
Yes.
what you're saying?
Yes.
Didn't realize that.
Yeah. Oh, we're back. The switch back on its own. I didn't have to do it. So this is some of my routines. Somebody keep me abreast of the time here, because I can get carried away. Just let me know when you're. Give me 5 minutes to clear out.
You have 26 minutes left.
I do have some more time. Okay.
26 minutes left.
Okay.
Yeah, Larry, that clock up there is roughly correct.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was, I didn't think I'd gone that long over my presentation, but yeah, thank you.
Just 1 or 2 minutes now.
Okay, I have a serious question.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a routine and a skill?
Routines are things that you can, and I'm going to show you what those do, but a skill is a complete event that can, a set of programming that can do all sorts of things. For example, I write skills.
Okay.
I'm a programmer, so I wrote a skill because I have you've met probably, many of you probably met Ray Seguin. Ray Seguin is a country singer from Canada, and he came here. And I love his music. So I wrote a skill that plays his music. And I put his music on an Amazon cloud storage, and then the skill reads a Google spreadsheet, which I can add to. So every time he posts a new song on Facebook, I go in and put that on the Amazon cloud server, and then I go into the Google spreadsheet and I put the URL to that particular song and the name of it. And now, when I ask Alexa to play his music, I've got 190 some songs out there. It can play for over 8 hours nonstop. That is just a skill that I wrote. And I wrote a skill for Storyberries. It's a kid's website, and it tells a story. So it asks you what your name is, and then it tells a story about a fictitious dragon, and you substitute dragons for castles, or there's a whole list of different words that it can change within the story. So when you start the story up, it randomly selects all of these different items and then tells a story with those random items. that's one of just of the couple of skills that I've written, but there are hundreds and hundreds of skills out there. Samuel Jackson is a skill. That was one of the few out there that you pay for. I think it was $1.99. And ask Samuel Jackson to play the weather.
It's a striking day. Currently in Leesburg, it's 84 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. Today, you can expect thunderstorms with a high of 85 degrees and a low of 57 degrees.
You gonna switch back, please? So these particular voices are gonna be, they're gonna add more and more as time goes on, different professionals giving different voices to the Alexa apps. So check out the skills section in the Amazon website at amazon.com. Tons and you can also check them right on your phone. You can go into the skills section on your iPhone or on your smartphone app, and you'll see the skills in there, and you can go through them. But there's so many of them. I mean, to just sit there and scroll through them would take you forever in a day.
And what you're talking about, it looks like between the cameras and the Alexa and the doing things. Now, what's gonna happen to the 40-minute presentation that you taped? Or
What I'm doing here today,
yeah,
that's gonna go on YouTube.
so
Because,
that's what you're doing is putting it in.
yeah, I'm gonna be putting this presentation on YouTube.
Okay, is there any way of recording it to like, I still use DVDs and stuff, because for
Well,
genealogy,
here-
I'm trying.
this is a interactive YouTube. I don't know if have any of you seen 360 video?
No,
Okay, that's another new subject. I didn't really realize that they were out there myself. And once I found them, that's why I got the camera. With a 360-degree video, they put a navigation icon up in the upper left corner. And you can look all around. So when you're viewing this video, once I put it up on YouTube, you can look up here at the screen, or you can look at me, or heaven forbid, look at him.
well, my son-in-law and the daughter that was here and my son too have both got rental properties in remote areas in Michigan and different places. And not having the power or the Wi-Fi, but what you've done with getting the Wi-Fi there and then having that and being able to record would be something I'm sure they're both going to be interested in. So if they can see this on YouTube, I won't be able to explain everything that you said.
Yeah.
But, and then the other thing is with my genealogy, I've got the video camera that's digital, but you can't get it off of there onto anything. I don't have the right programs to do it. But using this
Well,
camera
in that
to-
case, it's usually got an SD card in it. You could take the SD card out and plug it into your computer and get it off that way.
Yeah, but with what you're doing with the cameras and being able to record them, that's a good application for genealogy interviews and stuff, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of good, I showed this to my client up in Blue Spring State Park. He's got segways up there, he's got kayaks, he's got canoes, and he's got 2 tour boats. He's gonna get one of these, and then he'll mount it on the boats or the kayaks or the segways, and he'll go make some video of a typical one of his tours, and then we'll put that up on his website, and you can go to that and look all around. You know, you can, if you're on the Segway, you'll be able to look around and see the people that are on the Segways behind him, behind the leader, and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of applications for this.
Yeah, it's like laundry.
So anyhow, again, this is routines that I built for me, and here's how you go about doing them. You go in and you say, create a new routine, and this is the screen you'll see. And it will say, you know, enter your routine name. So you can name these things anything you want to name them. And then when you have Alexa to trigger them, you just say, you know, Alexa, whatever the name is, and she'll execute that routine and do whatever it is you told her to do. So once you've entered the name, like that, you'll just go in there and you'll just type in what you want to call it. And then you're going to say, well, so when this happens, and now you get to pick. What are you going to do when this happens? And you can pick from all these different choices. And they keep expanding these choices. And guard, this one down here is called guard. And I can't remember exactly what that one does, but I know it's very important. My memory is, CRS.
That's a smoke alarm, isn't it?
Yeah, it does detect smoke alarms and
I think that's the guard.
yeah, but I can't remember exactly what happens when you do that. But, so anyhow, you can have select voice. You can select schedule. So you want to schedule something at a certain time. You can select location, smart home, all that sort of stuff. So when whatever one of those that you pick happens, then you're going to say, what do you do when that happens? So I can say, there's a Alexa says, or I can say, I want to do something with the calendar, set a certain date or time, or a certain date or time, or you can do something with the calendar. You can go to your device settings and pick from all the different devices, like the 62 that I have. Or you can send an email, or you can find out what the news is. Any of these things that are in here is yours to pick from. So for example, if you picked voice, and then so when you say, and you just type in here what you want Alexa to hear, and then she'll do the command that you've told it to do. So if you said, Alexa, show the front door, and then after that happens, you're going to set up what happens when she hears show the front door. If you go into you pick schedule. So when schedule happens at a given time, a start time, so you can pick what time you want it to happen, or you can pick sunrise, sunset. So for my lamppost out in front of my house, I use at sunrise and sunset to turn those lights on and off. So these are different devices that I have. One called the back door, which is, and one called the first motion sensor, and motion sensor 2, and screen doors. So those are, when any of these devices are triggered, I can cause something to happen. For example, if the back door closes, or I could select when the back door opens, then it will do something. And that something is what I'm going to tell it to do next. So when the back door closes, we can now say, do you want to do it anytime the back door closes, or do you want to select a time? So you can restrict it to a certain time of day. So the back door closing at the middle of the night is not going to wake you up. And once you've picked the time, then you would pick the action, what to do about it when it happens. Are you going to send an email? Are you going to wake me up? Or what are you going to do? If you picked alarms as a routine, and that's one of your options, then when the alarm is dismissed or when the alarm is triggered, so you can change that up here. In this particular case, it's when the alarm is dismissed, and then the time will come into play, and then the action will follow it. Here we go. Here's when guard happens. This is Alexa can help keep you safe. You can create a routine to run when guard is switched to away or to home. So, if you tell Alexa I'm leaving, you can set up things to happen that with Guard. You set up your Guard in settings so that Alexa can help you guard your home while you're away. And going back to new things that you can do, you can pick messaging, music, news, skills. Of course, this opens up the door to literally hundreds of things. Whatever skills you have enabled on your device, you have access to triggering those skills as part of an action plan that you wish to use. Or you can go down to Smart Home. Smart Home has to do with all of these Wi-Fi switches and the
Light bulbs.
light bulb. There, a light bulb just went off in my head. The cameras, all of these things, and I have an exorbitant number of these silly things, so I can control. Every one of my lights in my house has been replaced with a Wi-Fi device, and they have names. The biggest problem now is remembering all their names. But I can turn on the kitchen, I can turn on the dining room, I can turn on the foyer, the driveway. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And then you have sounds.
Larry, the big advantage of those smart bulbs, when they have like your outdoor post light,
Yes,
with a smart switch, you really couldn't use it because it's not plugged into anything. But now with a smart bulb, you just replace the old light bulb with this, and then
yeah.
you got it.
And you can put a red light on there,
That's
a
true.
blue light or green light, whatever.
Wow.
And this is an IFTTT action. So one of the things that I used IFTTT for is that Alexa will start this applet, and the applet's named Record. And that's an IFTTT action called Record. So when that happens, it's going to trigger the record function on all of my cameras simultaneously. They'll all go off. And I already showed you what it looked like on the phone. And that's what it looks like in the app. And then we go back to notifications and announcements. You can receive a notification. That's one of the things under messaging. Or you can send an announcement. And an announcement, you simply talk into it and say what it is you want her to announce. And she'll announce it on all of your devices, all of your Echoes if you like. Or you can say, just announce it on this device or that device. So that's all part of the messaging functionality.
Mark. 10 minutes.
Oh, I'm down to 10? Okay. I
Tie
think we,
any of your messages into 911?
you cannot use 911.
You cannot.
No. Nope. You can call a friend, but you cannot call 911.
You have to call your cell phone number. So if you're traveling or something.
Yeah. Can't call 911, no. You can add music and, you know, Pandora and iHeartRadio and a whole lot of different music functions are out there. So you have the ability to control those and do different things with your music. So you would select a song or an artist, a playlist, select your provider, add a timer. So at a certain time, you know, starts playing your music. Or maybe it turns your music off at a certain time. You want to go to bed and listen to some music and have it turn off at a certain time. And then we have the news action command. So when news, they'll play news from your flash briefing. And you can have news from, your flash briefing can be news from a lot of different news sources. There's a whole host of different providers that offer that. And you can add sounds. So they have animals like, you know, moo and quack, and this, that, and the other. You can have bells and buzzers like the doorbell sound, and a festive season sound, or miscellaneous, or sci-fi. Those are all things. So this is what my routines look like. These are ones that I've set up for me. They've all got names, they all do different things. And then, if you like, you can actually roll your own skill. And you do that through Alexa blueprints. This is, again, for the novice, for somebody who doesn't have any programming skills whatsoever. You can go in here and create an Alexa skill using Alexa blueprints. It's free, costs you nothing. And we're not going to get to this, but I had a video here about the 10 surprising things that you might not know that you can do with Alexa. We're not going to play that. I said we're not going to play that. And so I managed to get within my 10-minute time frame here. I will give this presentation to Jerry or Roger when I'm all said and done, along with some possible links and stuff that might be of interest. And you'll be able to go through this presentation and watch that 10-minute video at your leisure. That is it, and I am actually surprised that all of this tech stuff went off without a hitch using my own network, because I've tried this before on Lake Hawk Net, and everything went to heck in a handbasket. And you see today it held up through all of this. So it is their internet. I thought it was, couldn't prove it until I did this, and it did work. So thank you for coming out.
Larry,
Question back there.
So Larry, you really, can't do this very well without Alexa.
Can't do what?
Have the camera and talk to it and do all that, although you said it had a speaker and you could hear. How do you, yeah, I guess maybe I'm missing the link of connecting it all, because I don't have Alexa.
Oh, you don't, do you have Google Home?
No.
No. Well, get Alexa.
Okay, I need
Yeah,
to
you
get
might win one. Everybody should have at least one Alexa Dot. They are really cool. I've got one in every room. Every room.
I know, you're like amazing.
And I've switched all my lights out so I can control everything.
Will Alexa work off of an Android phone?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
absolutely. Yep.
She could watch a camera on her phone without Alexa, couldn't she?
You can do watch.
She could watch her camera on her phone.
You can. I don't know if you can do it on your phone. I'm not sure about that. Maybe I haven't done that. But if you have an Echo Show, and they make a 5-inch, a 8-inch, and a 10-inch, you can show your front door camera on that. And if you have a Fire HD, I have a Fire HD tablet. You can put these cameras right on that and have it full time. I've got one of those sitting at my desk, and I watch the outside these cameras on that.
Well, I watch mine on my phone, because if I go away from home and get a notification, I look at my phone.
Yeah, again, you can watch this on your phone, as you
Yeah.
saw, and that's as long as you have an internet connection, you can watch it.
What do you do with the thunderstorm